Hello there, it's Patrick Sheriff reporting on the NaNoWriMo day 29 for me, November 29th, and I wrote 1,020 something words, about 1,000, just over 1,000 words, which, if you've been keeping track, I wouldn't blame you if you haven't, means I have won NaNoWriMo, yay! I have now 50,393 words. I'll post a picture of my word counts. So I finished. Yes, thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. But actually, of course, I haven't really finished. I mean, I have finished. I've done the 50,000, what I set out to do. I have until tomorrow, in fact. I'm one day early. But, of course, I did write 25,000 words beforehand. So I've really only written 25,000 words this month. But, put it all together. I'd feel like I didn't cheat, though. Because, actually, I started with something like 15,000 words that I'd culled from a previous file. I'd lost my draft previously, and so I was having to rewrite it. I had 15,000 words to start with, and I spent the first part of October writing another 10,000 words to get it up to 25,000 words. So I have been working on this pretty steadily since October, which is not really what you're supposed to be doing, but who cares anyway. I've written the 50,000, so I've learned quite a few lessons about my writing, and perhaps what I've learned might be applicable to you if you're planning on doing something like this, or any kind of creative endeavor that requires more than a couple of hours of effort. So first things first, yes, so I counted up all the words. Every time I write something, I keep track of how many words I've written in that session, and I do 25-minute sessions with a 5-minute break. Very often the 5-minute break becomes an hour's break or something, but there's 25 minutes of concentrated actual writing. So I've done called research, but really it's just looking at plans for what I'm going to write about, and I've got that kind of structured. So I've always got a framework that I'm working on. So that when I sit down for that 25 minutes, I kind of know roughly what I'm going to write about, but I don't exactly know how it's going to happen. I know that character A must meet character B, they're going to have a conflict about this, and the result will be this. That's all I know, and literally that many words, maybe a few more words than that. And that's what I know for each scene. And then I can rattle off, looking over my records, I can now see, I know for certainty that I can write 500 words in a 25-minute, on average, 500 words in 25 minutes. In other words, 1,000 words an hour. Now, if I know that figure, that's my average over a month, so it's a pretty accurate average. I mean, some days 300 words, some days 800 words. But, the average is 500. You understand how averages work, right? So what I learned from that, now I have that figure, 1,000 words takes me 1 hour to do. It means I have to, in order to write a 50,000 word novel, I need 50 hours of sitting down writing time. A 60,000 word novel, 60 hours. A 90,000 word, 90 hours. You see how it works. The problem is that those actual hours, that's the actual work hours, but in order to have those hours, I can't do like 5 or 6 in one go. I did try that one time. You can look back on the videos, I forget when it was, but it's the nighttime one where I'm recording. What I found was I wrote 3,000 words in 5 or 6 sessions, but then the following 3 days, these last 3 days, I just couldn't motivate myself to do it. I sort of I'd burnt out racing through 3,000 words. Now, if I was doing this full time, maybe 3,000 words a day is nothing, and I'm sure you could build up. It's like running a race. You build up a certain amount of stamina. That would probably be okay. But the way things are, doing 3,000 words, spending all day working on it, it's just exhausting. And the next day, the production just tails off tanks. So for me, at least, it might be different for you, but for me at least, I can do 1 or 2, possibly 3 sessions in a day before it means the next day I do less. So it's better to stick to 1 or 2 a day, 1 or 2 sessions a day. So those 50 hours actually, it's 1 or 2 a day, that's a month. Yes, but I need to do 1 or 2 a day. So that's interesting. So that's the first point, is I now can measure my production and I have a figure, so I can plan better now how long it's going to take me to write a novel. The second point is I discovered that I write more creative stuff, or I do my creativity a lot by writing. I think Haruki Murakami said that in his what I think about when I go running, or what was it? What I really, I can't remember. Anyway, basically, I can have lots of great ideas and plan it out, and that's good. And I need that framework to get started. But then when I get into the scene, sometimes more interesting things crop up. In fact, quite often, or a new problem or a new solution to a problem presents itself through the process of writing. And in fact, the opposite happens as well. I'll be writing something, and I think, this isn't actually very good. And you only know that by writing. So the writing process is really good. So I've kind of learned from that, I don't have to over-plan it. Just get the gist of it, and my subconscious or my frantic tapping away will make up the difference. So that's what I got. There was one occasion when I had to take I had to sleep on it. I had Hannah Walker in a locked room situation. She had to get out of a locked room, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out how she's going to do it. Thought about it. Thought, okay, I'll just leave it, let it lie. Went to bed. And sometime in the morning or after a while having a shower, I was like, oh yeah, I know how to get her out of there, how she could get out in a very Japanese way that would be character relevant to the character and specific. So, don't beat yourself up if something's very impossible, keep going forward. But as a general rule, you can work out most things by doing it. That's true of all life, isn't it? So, what else was I going to say? So yes, my third point is that, writing a novel in 1 month, or at least a draft of a novel in 1 month, is doable. But if I'm honest, I think to do it without any pain, or without limiting the amount of pain, so that you're not suffering, you're not skipping social times that you really want to go to, it may take 2 months. 2 months to do it. I mean, 1 month you can do it for NaNoWriMo, but 2 months will give you a 60,000 word novel, working at 500 words a day. So in other words, 25 minutes a day would give you a 60,000 word novel, as I say, first draft, over 2 months. And to me, that's a good bargain. I mean, for me, I'm a full-time worker as well, so I have to squeeze it in. The key is to do the words, though. You've got to keep doing it, show up every day. So what else? So yes, doable, but for me, I need about 2 months to do it without suffering. Number 4, motivation. In some ways, NaNoWriMo was a bit silly, really, and I felt a bit old doing it. There's lots of 20-year-olds and 20-somethings doing it. Yeah, I've written it, and posting screenshots of them saying, the end. Yeah. I'm getting a bit old for that. Having said that, though, it is motivating, and I'm not sure it's the NaNoWriMo that's actually very motivating, but telling everybody that I'm doing it, making these silly videos, is forcing me to get up. And there were many times when I thought, I really don't feel like it, but I've got to have something to report for the video. So it worked, and it got me doing this thing. If I hadn't done NaNoWriMo, I mean, I was planning to do this novel, but it would probably still be dragging on for another month, perhaps 2, and then if it gets too long, you're in trouble. So, okay, what else? So that's 4 points. A 5th point, I think I've got a new daily habit, and the new daily habit is writing for 25 minutes. I can do that without too much sweat, so I want to keep doing that, because slow and steady wins the day. It's like an investment. Keep putting a few pennies away and watch the interest grow. Don't try and do a slam bam, thank you ma'am thing all in one go. It just doesn't work, or it certainly doesn't work for me. Might do for you, but each to their own. So that's interesting, a new daily habit. A final point I just wanted to say, there was a famous American chap who used to write, I mean, he's dead now, died recently. But he, Donald Keane, who translated a lot of Japanese stuff, and I think he wrote his own stuff in his own way, and he's a Japan watcher, one of those professional talking heads, but quite intelligent bloke, very intelligent bloke. Anyway, so he wrote a lot, and he wrote for a living, and he would have 3 projects on the go at any one time. He'd have one that, well, in an ideal world, he'd have one that was in sort of draft stage, like we've just completed for NaNoWriMo. So one in draft stage, one in like production stage, post-production stage, where he's sort of doing the editing and sorting it out, and then one just in pre-everything stage, just wild ideas. So he's always got 3 things going on at different stages of production. The preconception, conception, no. Birth, no. Anyway, you got three projects going on. So you're using different parts of your brain and different parts of energy, and I think that, and therefore he's constantly producing stuff, and he could write loads. I think that's the way to go for anybody, but certainly for me. That's good advice, because once you can get burnt out on coming up with new ideas, and then go into your editing, which is more cerebral rather than emotional or something, or left side, right side, I don't know. And then in the evenings is the time when you can just sort of reflect on everything, and wow, it'd be really good to write a story about this, that, and the other. And I think there's a good balance, so you're constantly producing, and you can do more on one and more on another, depending on the state of the project and how you're feeling. So that's a useful way of thinking about it. Anyway, it's been good. It's worked. I've officially won NaNoWriMo, one of the many winners, I hope. So if this is your kind of thing, then I recommend giving it a go. And don't beat yourself up if you didn't make it. Keep going. I mean, ultimately, this is just a silly game. What's important is what you write and getting something written. If you've got something written, then, that's all it's about. I mean, I think I've got another 10,000 words I need to write of this book, but I'll do one more video, possibly tomorrow, talking about editing and what I'm going to do next. I'll do that tomorrow, because that's day 30. And I finished one day early. So that's good. That means my timing was about right. You don't want to be too late, and you don't want to be way too early. It means you didn't do enough work. So that's good. Thanks for watching these videos. I'll do one more, as I say, tomorrow, and that's your lot. Good luck with your endeavours. But I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. Okay. See you.